It's April, so it's time again to take a look back at everything picked up in March. First up out of the United States are what appears to be two simple army pieces, but when looking closer, they're actually a little bit different. On the left is a brand new current version of the improved hot weather combat uniform top, but it looks to be the very first batch of them, as on the tag where the NATO stock number is, it says development item. The IHWCU saw a number of versions tested under the name of Jungle Army Combat Uniform, then once finalized underwent a few tweaks as well, eventually becoming what you see here. Right next to it is a UCP Paraclete SOF BDU top. Managing to get a full set in the Desert AOR style digital camo not that long ago, finding a UCP version so soon after was lucky, and being in the 100% cotton version, it's quite a bit different in the feel and texture. Moving now into the Middle East are two semi-familiar patterns but with a bit of a twist. On the left is a version of what can be described as a recolored ERDL design worn by certain units under the former National Directorate of Security within Afghanistan. The Security and Intelligence Service of the Islamic Republic, many specialty units wore assorted cuts bearing this design that were produced either in-country or China, with this one being a dead stock version of the latter. Next to it is an interesting variation of a pattern worn by the Saudi Arabian General Directorate of Narcotics Control. Their tasks are pretty obvious, and usually agents are seen wearing a recoloring of the US 3-color desert, though this one does feature the same colors, the shapes are a little bit different. Hopping over to Africa are two more patterns, one out of Algeria and the other the Ivory Coast. The left is the current design worn by the Special Action Regiment of the Navy, aka their version of the Marines, which wears this rather curious design that looks almost like a mix of Flecktarn and maybe Bhutan. But whatever the case, it's certainly a neat one. Opposite it is probably a more familiar design to many, which is actually a copy, as it's the Ivory Coast's take on Tropical Multicam, which has been worn by much of their armed forces for a number of years now. Honestly, the country loves its design, so checking another one off the list is always a good thing. And to wrap things up are two blue patterns out of Russia, both of which are related to law enforcement. On the left is a digital pattern which has seen a few color variations, with this one being, according to the label, worn by members of the Bailiff Service of the Federal Penitentiary Service of the Chuvash Republic. Try saying that 5 times fast. Though it is worth noting the pattern is worn more broadly than just that one region. Next to it is an MVD, or Ministry of Internal Affairs, badged police uniform, which is a little bit more general in use and seems to be a bit of a newer pattern, sometimes referred to as Glacier, which looks a little like Italy's Vegetato design. Just like the Ivory Coast, Russia really loves its camouflages, but then again, being a federation of republics, it makes sense. Anyway though, we've wrapped up another month here. Hope to see you all again next month, same place and around the same time. Until then.